Hello, welcome to the channel. We're making sure this runs fine, making sure nobody's interfering with the reception of this and the broadcasting of this. Anyway, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is going to be an exciting day. You are going to learn a whole lot as I remove this. Part of the effects of falling off the ladder was numbing of the hands, so some things you just learn to live with. Anyway, we are headed for the abyss. As Trump wins big. He has a huge winning in the United States Supreme Court, but we are headed towards an abyss whether Trump's there or not. This is brought to you by Noble Gold. I don't know what to say. They have a July 4th special where if you start a qualified 401k, you get 10 ounces of silver. They have the most incredible silver. The silver I got for doing this stuff has gone up in value almost 10 times because it's really mint quality silver. So I don't know what they're going to send you. They might send you a 10-ounce silver bar. They might send you 10 1-ounce coins. I don't know. You'll have to call them, 877-646-5347. But if you're not investing in gold after this, I mean, crypto got stolen from me by Coinbase. My investments got stolen from me by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Apparently, they don't like saving Trump's life or stopping a full-scale atomic exchange. So I'm saving in gold and silver where they can't touch it. It's the only logical thing to do. What else can you do? I mean, if they steal if they don't like you, they take your stocks and bonds. If they don't like you, they tell Coinbase not to give you your money back. Who are they? The elites, the Satanists who control the Securities and Exchange Commission and Coinbase. You talk about God, they seize your money. It's who they are. So I invest in gold and silver, which is unseizable, and it's not on site. So they could evaporate this house with their lasers from above, and the gold and silver won't get touched. Anyway, let's go around. So I go to Noble Gold. Noble Gold Investments. It comes in a little brown package, and it's insured, and I signed for it. We've gone through a lot with Noble Gold. They've really changed. They have really stepped up to the plate and become the premier gold and silver company since I started dealing with them. When I started dealing with just a little teeny company, now they are a premier. I mean, they do everything just excellent quality. Anyway, a little bit of news from overseas. The Ukraine using the Pentagon, using U.S. satellites and U.S.-made missiles, targeted civilian areas in Russia during what they call the Family Day on July 8th, or the Day of Love. The United States targeted civilian areas to kill women and children. There's nothing more that can be said. They have to use U.S. satellites. And Russia responded with 747 drones and several hundred missiles to pummel the Ukrainian military. Actually, they were after the Ukrainian military manufacturing sites that make or store the missiles. So the United States, the cost to kill 10,000 Ukrainians in the last 7 days was $200,000 per Ukrainian, plus we pay the $450,000 insurance per dead Ukrainian. So it's costing $650,000 per Ukrainian to kill 10,000 Ukrainians in the last week that you and I pay for. Now, I don't know what 650,000 times 10,000 is, but it comes out of your and I paycheck. Or inflation, which, by the way, has been held in check. Trump's right. It's bringing the cost of oil and natural gas down tremendously, which is causing the food to stabilize in price. But the distribution centers are getting hacked, so we're getting really strange products on the shelves. Anyway, Netanyahu is at the White House, and he said Palestine must go, which I totally agree with. Palestine was an Egyptian treaty. In 1950, and they were inhabited by Egyptians. It's not like people say, oh, they're the true Israelites. Oh, hockey puck. Hockey frickin' puck. They need to be sent back to Egypt, and Egypt won't take them because they're too unruly. So over 500,000 dead Palestinians are there now. You figure the cost the U.S. for sending Israel $20 billion a year in terms of weapons, and we've killed 500,000. You figure the cost on that. Anyway, there are banking problems sprouting up. We went to a business meeting, and what we said, everybody said, yeah, that's happened to me recently. We paid $2,000 into a credit card, and the bank took it back. We didn't know until we got our statements. They didn't want the $2,000 to go to the credit card, so they took it back. We paid extra interest on the credit card, and the bank held on to our money. Bizarre. Another bank, right up the street, we went to take out $400, and the machine went burp, ATM down. So we went inside, told them the ATM's down, and this is what the manager said. Not again. So then we asked him, what about Bank of America? They keep, their ATMs keep seizing up, stealing the money from the customers. He says, yeah, we've heard about that. So the branch manager for another bank has heard about the Bank of America ATMs seizing up and seizing people's money. And you wait 3 months to get your money back. So you're going to go there, you're going to pull out $200, because you got $400 in your account and you need some food till the end of the month. And you go to pull the $200 out and it goes burp. Nothing. So you're supposed to call this number, and they say between 30 and 90 days you'll get your money back. In the meantime, you need food for your family. Your credit cards are all maxed out. So what are you going to do? Pull out your last $50 and buy top ramen, I guess, because that's where we're headed. So Bank of America, and then, of course, we all know about Wells Fargo and Bank of America refusing to help with banking fraud. So you go in there with, the last 10 years of bank statements and say, I have a bank account here. And they say, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, your bank account has been dissolved. It no longer exists. You'll have to call our customer service. So you call the customer service, and you can't get through because you don't have a bank account number. So your bank account is gone. It's like Coinbase. And it's gone. So are you ready for the chaos that's coming with bank accounts that are disappearing on everybody? From you all the way up to an ambassador. They're disappearing. You better have more than one bank account. Now, I have 2 banks, and I have a business account. And so each one I can draw on, but in the last 30 days, 2 of them have burped. The third one, we've been on life support. I mean, yeah, we've got money in there, but that bank is one of the major banks in the world, and it's absolutely burping, and it's one of the top 10 banks in the world, and it's spitting out and burping. So are you ready for that? And WellCare sent us a notice, or WellPoint, for Medicaid recipients. And what I found out was the entire Medicaid, as a retired person, 40 years ago, the government picked up all your costs. But then they started adding, there were 15 million retired people in 1960. Now there's 15 million retired people in 2025. The only problem is we've gone from 5 million other people on Social Security to 145 million other people on Social Security. So they had to create Part A and Part B, and then the donut hole, and then the prescription coverage, blah, 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 that only the retired people pay for. Those on disability, mental disability, oh, I can't work, I'm a minority, please give me disability, like our neighbor. I can't work because it's too stressful. Oh, she got mental disability, which is a state issue, not a federal issue. So, for 15 years, they haven't given whites disability. It doesn't exist. It's only if you're non-white. Unbelievable. Anyway, so Medicare was screwed up because somebody has to pay for the illegal aliens. Anyway, that's the reality. In Costco, I go in they send me a notice. Your prescription's ready, $28. I go in there, they say they want $961. Typical Costco crap. They lie, cheat, steal, and murder. So Costco sends me a note, says $28. I go in there, they say $961. I says, up yours. I walked out. So apparently that drug sells for $4,000 a month. It's a drug that's good for bullous pemphigoid. It's a cancer drug. So if they're treating cancer, they treat it with duplexinate or something like that. And it's $4,000 a month. Well, when we talk about reversing cancer for $50 a month, with sea vegetables and a surfactant called Increasese, when we talk about reversing cancer, well, we're talking $50 a month versus $4,000 a month. They got a lot of money to shut us down with. Just pay off the FBI, censor us. So that's why we're censored. It's all about money. Money is their god. And inhaler costs have gone up by $14 an inhaler, from $31 to $45. Trump's prescription plan is not working. Not yet, anyway. And RFK has not removed the fluoride from our water, and there's been no arrest for adding the poison fluoride to our water. And he's now pushing digital IDs so he can keep track of location, heart rate, and blood pressure, blood sugar, and everything else. So he wants to digitize America, make us little walking, talking digital humans. RFK has not taken the fluoride out of the water. And President Trump has not ended the Ukraine war. He refuses to release the Epstein list. Well, no, it's all about child porn. I'm not releasing the list. He refuses to release it. I will release the Epstein list. I will release the RFK assassination files. I will stop the Ukrainian war on the first day. I will stop the Israeli-Palestinian war. I will release the alien contact files. He hasn't done a one of them. He doesn't intend to do any of them. This is not the Trump we elected. And there have been no arrests made. And the CEO of the weather modification company, it's all over Gateway Pundit, and it's all over Zero Hedge. Augustus, Dorico, I hope I didn't massacre your name, Augustus. Anyway, he is the CEO of Rainmaker. He said, now there's been reports of blue rain all over California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. The rain came down was blue, so they've been seeding clouds according to a National Oceanic Administration contract run by the Department of Commerce, funded by NASA. So, they just make money up out of thin air. They seeded the clouds all across the southwestern United States and caused massive flooding and murdered over 250 people. So Augustus Dorico admitted this. There's now spot floods all across Italy and fires in France. It's all being done by rainmaking companies, and nobody's been arrested. Not a one. And the arsenic and lead being sprayed by the 55th and 60th Air Wing, it's still going on. So we've got arsenic and lead coming out of the air, and fluoride, which is just as toxic as lead, falling out of the skies, or falling right through the drinking fountain. And finally, whatever happened to I'm gonna remove the fluoride from the water across America? Hockey puck. You can't even release the Epstein files. I mean, this guy, Trump went, it's all child porn. I'm not going to release those files ever. What happened to I will release the Epstein files? He has done a 180 on everything. Satan's not going to prosecute Satan. Trump can't make Hegseth do anything. He can't make Marco Rubio. They're still taking hundreds of thousands of people, giving them names, and making the illegal aliens American citizens. You can't stop Marco Rubio from doing that. He can't stop Hegseth from shipping or stopping weapons shipments to the Ukraine. Hegseth can't even retire me, let alone 40,000 other National Guard or reservists. He mentally is not capable of retiring over 50,000 Guard and reservists, who some of them have been retired for 5 years. He denies them medical care, and he denies them their retirement. And despite 2 orders from 2 secretaries of defense and a President Trump, Hegseth told Trump to eat my shorts. I'm not going to retire him, and you can't make me. Man, if they had a man in office, he would have taken Hegseth and smacked him around and forced him to obey the orders of the president, because Hegseth swore with his right hand on the Bible to obey the orders of the president. Now he's just telling Trump to go suck an egg. What a disloyal piece of human garbage. Hey, Seth, you'll probably be there for a while, but you can't retire 50,000 National Guard and Reservists. You can't even retire one guy who's been ordered to be retired. You're a worthless puke. Just like Marco Rubio allowing the State Department to do that. Or RFK now wanting to digitize Americans and won't stop fluoride from being dumped in the water. What happened? They all turned satanic. And finally, the defunct Supreme Court, once again, Nancy Drew walked by the Supreme Court in the halls of Congress. Not one frickin' car, not one light on. They've been disbanded for over almost half a decade. How much longer can they still be in operation? In an 8-1 ruling by the Supreme Court, Trump is now allowed to trim the federal forces in the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Commerce, HHS, U.S. Department of State, U.S. Treasury, the VA, and 12 more federal agencies. Why wasn't he given permission to trim all of them, U.S. Supreme Court? Because you want to drag this out, just like you want to drag the Ukrainian conflict out, just like you want to drag the Israeli conflict out, just like you want to pretend you're still there. Wake up, America. The Supreme Court hasn't been in their building for 5 years. Nancy Drew's been walking by it for 5 years, and there hasn't been one frickin' light turned on. Now, in the halls of Congress, there have been 2 lights turned on. Woo! In 4.5 years, 2 lights have been turned on. Woohoo! 2 lights. When she walks by, I look at the lights. None of them are on. None of them walking. Nobody's walking to and fro. There are no snipers on top of the White House. We have a government operating fully underground, just like Operation Devolution said they would. FEMA, Operation Devolution. As soon as we brought it out, the CIA pulled it off the internet. All hail your masters in the CIA. So now you know why I'm censored. Because I tell the truth. And the CIA director in 1983 said, if everything you believe is a lie, we win. They work for Lucifer directly. The CIA director answers to the Pope, and the Pope claims to be Lucifer incarnate. So who does J.D. Vance go and bow to? Lucifer incarnate. Why God still has Trump in office is between him and Trump. Maybe he sees him going to turn in the future back to God. But right now, his life is at risk in several ways. That's okay. There's probably 10 doubles of him. I don't know where the real Trump is. He's 6'2". He ain't no 5'6" nutcase. Anyway, we'll see what happens. All I know is everything he said he was going to do is defunct. And the 666 bill, the BBB, the big beautiful bill, has passed, increasing our debt by $2 trillion a year. And now he's giving more weapons to the Ukraine so we can spend another $650,000 as a U.S. taxpayer for every Ukrainian killed. There's only 100 million working Americans, and 25 million are working second jobs. So, obviously, they say there's 125 million working Americans. They twist and lie about the truth. It's who they are. It's who they'll always be. And so we'll just report on the news and understand that Trump has been taken over by somebody different than when he ran for office. God bless. Thank you very much, and we'll see you bright and early. You can be a little disgusted with Trump because everything he said now is a complete lie. And on Brighteon and BitChute and everything else, you'll see the halls of Congress are empty. But we're not allowed to play it on number 2 because we can't play somebody else's video. It's legal, but YouTube has a tendency of throwing us off the air. God bless. Thank you very much. Heck, they banned us for 2 weeks for doing a video on how to make mashed potatoes. We'll see you tomorrow.